we are going to be diving into the March 2025 Visa Bulletin and what it means for employment-based visa petitioners who are actually anxiously waiting for it to move. And let's break down this key moment and what actually transpired between February 2025 and March 2025 Visa Bulletin. But before we go ahead, let me just give you a rundown of what the Visa Bulletin is so that you and I could understand and watch this video with an informed knowledge so that you'll be able to understand what the final action date means and what the date of filing means. So that now stay with me as I explain these key terms, right? The Visa Bulletin is a monthly publication issued by the US Department of State, and it provides information on visa availability for different immigration categories. And it also serves several important functions, and one that is visa availability, as the Visa Bulletin shows which green card applications can move forward based on priority dates and visa categories. And also it actually helps us to track the wait time, allowing applicants to track their progress in the green card queue, and by comparing their priority dates to the cutoff date listed on the Visa Bulletin. And it also helps us to know how many visas are located for different categories of visas, and the quotas for different preference categories, and also the countries that are located at these visa categories. And the Visa Bulletin is organized into two main sections, that is the family sponsored preferences and secondly the employment-based preferences. And each section contains the different categories and chargeability areas, and which is the country. The Visa Bulletin includes two types of charts. That is, number one, the final action date charts, which determine the actual visa availability, and two, dates for filing, which also indicate when individuals may start the application process. And in case you don't understand, the date for filing will tell you when you can actually apply, gather your document and ship it to USCIS. And the final action date will also tell us when they are likely to make decision on your green card application. Does that make sense? Now, let's not waste time. Let's go into specific and let us look at the February Visa Bulletin, so that we could use it to understand what actually transpired for the March 2025 Visa Bulletin. Like I mentioned, there are two charts in each of the Visa Bulletin that comes out. So as we move into looking at the February 2025 Visa Bulletin, I want us to take note about these dates because they are important as we are going to progress to look at the March 2025 Visa Bulletin. And when we look at the final action date for February 2025, we would understand for the EB1A, it is current for the rest of the world, while for China, it states at November 8th, 2022, India 1st February 2022, and Mexico is current. The Philippines, it's also current. And for the second preference, that which is the EB2 NIW, for the final action date, it states at 1st April 2023, China 2nd April 2020, India 15th October 2012, and Mexico 1st April 2023, and the Philippines 1st April 2023. And when we go to the EB3 employment-based visa, for the rest of the world, it states at 1st December 2022, China 1st July 2020, India 15th December 2012, Mexico 1st December 2012, and the Philippines 1st December 2012. Let's quickly look at the date for filing for the February Visa Bulletin. And when we look at the date of filing, we would understand that for the EB1A, that for the EB1, that it is current for the rest of the world, and also for Mexico and the Philippines. While for China, India, and Mexico, for China, it stayed at 1st January 2023, India 15th April 2022, and that is all we have. But when we go for the EB2 NIW, which is where most people are stuck waiting for it to move so that they could actually put in their I-485, which is the green card application, we would understand that it stays at 1st August 2023, and it has not moved since October 2024 Visa Bulletin. It has been there all this while. And when we move to China, we will see it is at 1st October 2020, India 1st January 2013, and Mexico 1st August 2023. The same thing with the Philippines. And when we go for the EB3, we would understand it is as 1st March 2023 for the rest of the world, and for China 15th November 2020, and India 8th of June 2013, Mexico and the Philippines 1st March 2023 accordingly. But when we go for the EB4 visa, it is at 1st February 2021 for the rest of the world, while for China, it is at 1st February 2021, and India 1st February 2021, and it is the same thing for Mexico and the Philippines. We would understand that there seems to be a lot of backlog for those who are applying for the EB4 visa. I am mostly interested in those who are self-petitioning for the green card themselves, and would understand that the 1st August 2023, which is the date for filing, has been there since October, like I mentioned, and a lot of people are scrambling to know what they could do in order to avoid this wait time, and that is where the EB1A, if you're a self-petitioner, comes in. And I would encourage you to check out my videos where I have done almost all the criteria necessary for the EB1A, and I will put a link in my description, and I'll put a playlist for you to watch and see how you could, put in your credentials and apply for the EB1A, because it is current for every visa bulletin that has been coming out, right from when this backlog started. Now let's go on and look at the March 2025 visa bulletin, and we'll see the progression that happened in each and every category, so that we would understand what is going on and how we could, make our adjustment to avoid the backlog that is happening for the EB2 NIW or the EB4 or the EB3. Now, let's look at the March visa bulletin, like I mentioned, and we would understand that based on for the information, the charts that we have at hand, we would understand that there is some significant movement that happened in the final action date. Like I mentioned, that the final action date is the key moment where there is likely to be action on your case. And when we look at the EB1A, there is no changes across country. It remains current for the rest of the world except China and India. When we look at the EB2 NIW, that category, we understand there is a little bit of movement, because there is an advancement in movement, what I would say, which is significant, because it moved from 1st April 2023 to 15th April, which is 1.5 months progress. For the China folks, would understand that I feel you guys should be jubilating now, because it moved from 8th April 2020 to 8th of May 2020, which is 16 days progress. It's a lot for some people. And for India, it advanced from 15th October 2012 to 1st December 2012, which is, I would consider, 47 days progress. And it is a lot for my Indian folks. And for those from Philippines and Mexico, there's an advancement from 1st April 2023 to 15th April 2023, which is 1.5 months progress. But when we look at the EB3 category, we would understand there seems to be no change when we look at the final action date. But for folks from China, there is a little bit of movement from 1st July to 1st August 2020, which is 1 month progress. And for my guys from China, from India, it moved from 15th December 2012 to 1st February 2013, which is 43 days progress. And I will tell you that for those who have been waiting for so long to apply for the EB3 and a visa, to wait for their green card to be ready, I would say congratulations to you. Why when we look at the folks from Mexico and the Philippines, we would understand there is no change at all. And well, we don't have anything to cry about, because we just have to keep waiting, hoping that there is change on the way. Now, let's look at the date of filing, because we would understand that this date of filing determines when one could apply for the green card. And based on the information that we have before us, we would understand that there is no movement in the date for filing it remained the same from what we had in the February Visa Bulletin. And I will tell you, it appears as if that USCIS just copied and pasted what they have from October. They have been copying and paste, and they don't even care to make an adjustment. I mean, the Department of State. But would understand that this is based on availability and what they have and the number of visas they are processing. And a lot of people have been speculating if the new presidency, that is Donald Trump, will actually make a change on the visa bulletin, or pressure the Department of State to make an adjustment or to alter the number of visa availability. I don't think that is likely to happen because the employment-based visa is not something that it's worrying Mr. President. And I think that I may be right to say that he is going after the tariff, which is of the nation's interest. And as at now, I believe that the visa bulletin and the availability for legal immigrants is of the nation's interest. But I don't think that that is what the Mr. President is worrying about. And I would tell you that you should keep your head focused, waiting for any visa bulletin movement to happen. But as at now, we just have to wait it out. And I will tell you, I wish you all the best as you wait for movement to apply for your green card. But here is what I want to tell you, that this lack of movement suggests that the visa availability and backlog situation for employment-based visa is likely going to remain the same or remain stable for quite a long time. And we have been experiencing this since the October Visa Bulletin. And it is important to note that this information that I'm providing you here pertains to date of filing, because the date of filing chart has not moved since October. And it also indicates that applicants are likely going to wait longer for these dates are moving. And I will tell you that a lot of people are getting smarter because they are applying for the EB1A visa. And that is what I would encourage you to do. And lastly, before I finish my video, I will ask you that if you find this information helpful, I want you to go ahead, like my video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, as that really helps my channel. And I will see you in my next video. Peace.